listening to the Hometown Losers, the St. Louis Sports Podcast, with Josh, Adam, and OJ.
Hey everybody, welcome back here to the Hometown Losers Podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co-host and Adam and OJ. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
I am doing great. Just peachy. I'm so glad to be here. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's one of those things that luckily there hasn't been that much in St. Louis sports.
That's really kind of the whole point, right?
Been going on. It's like a few games here and there, but we've had outstanding circumstances and stuff like that we weren't able to convene. But at least now we have a decent amount of talk.
We have topics
compared to exactly, kind of struggling through some of this shit because it's like, well, there's stuff to talk about, but it's all negative, and I really don't want to keep doing that. So
yeah, if that was the case, then just watch the news. That's pretty much all they do. So that's the reason why we want to stay relevant. We want to stay positive. So we're back, and I'm glad. How's OJ?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yeah, just enjoying watching some sports. So it's been good.
Watching stuff in sports.
That's for sure. I'm glad that football's back. I know that OJ, you compare
college
less about the
football's
NFL,
back.
but and college football. And this year we actually have some good solid line or storylines as well in the college football. Alabama just lost to Texas. That was awesome. Only time I've ever rooted for Texas in my life. But
Mizzou managed to squeak out a 4-point win over Middle Tennessee State.
Middle Tennessee State. That tells you
something
everything
like
you need to
that.
know right there.
Quite amazing.
Yeah, MTS Middle Tennessee State. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny though. So my buddy that went to Mizzou texted me in the fourth quarter. He goes, "We're gonna lose this game."
It was close a couple.
I wasn't watching it. Yeah, I wasn't watching it, but I was like, "Oh, you might." I kept looking at the score. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's it's almost impressive.
Yes, exactly. Like I'm not even mad. I'm amazed.
Exactly. The advantage you have over the school, So
and somehow you still lose. Damn. Anyways,
almost.
Well, speaking of,
they won.
Yeah, almost. Yes,
they didn't lose.
Win. At the end of the day, the 1-0 is all that matters from that. So
2-0.
2-0. Yes. So they're 2-0
now.
That
was their first
game.
They beat
South Dakota before this. So,
that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So they're in first place, baby.
Yeah, hey, no, listen.
Tied, I guess.
Yeah, and you're right. You're right. I accidentally disrespected Mizzou. I got confused with the NFL season. I forgot that college football starts 1 week before the NFL season started. That's on me.
Yeah.
So like I said, first place in the SEC East. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's talk.
I don't know why that just struck me as hilarious. In all of the SEC, really.
The entire SEC East, they are number one.
The Mizzou has a better record than Alabama. I mean, if the
you're right. Actually, in the entire, you're right. They're technically number one in the entire SEC. You're right.
Yeah, if the playoffs started today.
I mean, considering though that in the entire SEC though we're tied with like 7 teams, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm about to say we're not even ranked in the top 25. We're top
actually,
bitches.
Yeah,
not our fault. We haven't played more games.
Yeah, there's 8 teams that are 2-0, and we're one of them. So literally, we're tied with 7 other teams right now.
Yeah.
Well, we could at least.
We're still number one.
Turn our nose to Alabama right now and be like, "Hey, F you, we're better than you."
Alabama. Yeah, they're 1-1. We're doing better than they are. How about that? And LSU. How about that?
How to play football?
Alabama, LSU. We're better than all of them.
Yeah, damn right.
All right.
All right, guys, let's get to a not very good team. Although they have actually.
Well, wait a minute. Don't go that far. They're still a good
which team?
We're talking about the Cardinals, aren't we?
I'm trying to transition to the Cardinals.
But listen, they're not terrible. They just won against the first place.
That's what I just said.
Baltimore Orioles. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they just smoked a bunch of good teams, actually. So
yeah. So actually, since the last last session, they're 13-9, which isn't great baseball, but that's not bad.
Better than we were expecting.
Well, yeah, especially when you think about the
good baseball
schedule, right? Like,
yeah, that is true too. Because it's just weird. This team, the Cardinals wish we would have played like real competitive teams this entire season rather than dealing with anything in the Central. Because whatever reason, the Central just seems to be our Achilles heel. But when it comes to like, teams that are historically really like tough, or they just like on paper, they look really tough, we just seem to like get through them pretty easily. Not easily.
But we usually do. Yeah, we're able to win comparably. Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, look at us. I mean, I hate to bring it up, but even like look at the Cardinals and the Cubs. We've struggled a lot of times with the Cubs, ironically, even though we were a better team. So.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it too, I mean, they've got a very nice record against the AL East this year. I forget exactly what it was. It's like 10-4 or something like that against the AL East.
We're going to continue that series
in all of baseball
starting tomorrow with a series against the Phillies in town. So,
yeah. God,
the Phillies have always been one of those teams. Yeah,
but this time it's at home. So now, Castellanos has to try
NL East, but still East anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, because now Castellanos' defense is going to be showing up in Busch a little more than it has to in Philly. So,
amen to that. But anyway, so speaking to that 13-9 since the last session, the last time we had the podcast, they are now 65-81, which obviously we know it's not going anywhere. They're still 16 games under 500. And if they actually we can, I think we can only get 500 even if we win out. Now,
get 500 if you win the next 18 games. So they literally 2 years ago just had a 17-game winning streak. So now they just got to do 18.
That's true.
Boom, non-losing record. Yeah. That'd be pretty impressive.
That'd be cool.
You know what they need to do? They literally need to do it where they do it like the Indians from Major League, right? Where they like start peeling away a piece of like a pinup, right? Except, let's be honest, it's the Cardinals, so the pinup should be like Grimace from like McDonald's, or something like that at this point. Because let's be honest, 500 is not something to brag home about, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, the whole point is it's at least partially for motivation, though. I would imagine Grimace isn't motivating.
Hey,
anything in this.
You had Big Mac Land, and now you want Grimace Grove?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why not? There you go.
Yeah,
I was going to say, get them purple shakes. There you go. Grimace's birthday all over again, but it's going to be a net.
I missed that one.
Yeah. Another horrible social media trend you don't want to be a part of.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad I'm not on any social media. It's the best
Trust
thing.
me, you're not missing much.
So anyways, finishing our update real quick. They're still last in the Central, 17 games back, which is actually 2.5 games worse since the last session, which is ironic because we are now 13th in the NL, and we used to be 14th at the last session. We were 11 games back. Now we're 10 games back in the last wild card spot.
Well, but in the last 10 games, in the entire National League, though, in the last 10 games, that we have a better winning record than any team in the National League. I just looked it up. We're 7-3.
Yes.
Just saying.
The problem with
the last 10
games, it's just so
hey, we can spin these stats any way we want to make them look good, right?
That is true. We're guys, they're still 25th in the MLB now.
What's the record of the last wild card team? Just curious.
So let me double check on that real quick, because I actually have the stuff pulled up in front of me real quick. So for the National League, it is the Chicago Cubs. No, I forgot. It's actually a 3-way tie between San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Arizona. San Francisco has actually 2 games in hand on Cincinnati and Arizona, but essentially 4 games above 500 is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we need all of them to have bad last 18, and then we would need to sweep all 18. Maybe squeak in with a even record for the first time in probably all.
We've actually, yeah. So it's how many games did you just say? You said 18. I think it's a little less.
I think it's 18 for us left.
Let me look and see. We played 146 games.
So
yeah. So I'm
hold on, yeah.
So let me take that 146 minus 152. 16 games left.
Yeah, 16. That's what I thought. I thought there was slightly underneath.
All you gotta do is win 16 in a row and count on like 3 teams.
We can do that. We can do 16 in a row. Yeah.
To play sub 500 by a lot.
So if we do 16-0, we'll be at 500. You're right. We're at
All right. How about this? How about this?
Each of those teams would also need to be like 4 games below 500 for that stretch, or maybe 5 even, so that we can jump them.
All right.
I think.
So, OJ and Adam, I got a proposition for you, gentlemen. Okay. I'm going to invoke Laura Branigan law real quick. Adam, you may or may not know where I'm going with this.
I do.
So
I know the reference.
Yeah. Well, I know that you know the reference, but I don't. Okay. Anyways, way back in the day, during the 2019 NHL season, when the Blues were absolutely trash, they started winning it, and they started winning a lot. We didn't think that we were going to be able to get into the playoffs, but we obviously almost won the Central Division. And Adam and I made a bet with ourselves. If we end up winning the Stanley Cup, we're going to get a Blues tattoo. And what do they end up doing that year, Adam? And we
I was like,
matching tattoos.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which is kind of messed up, like the fact that the Blues, of course, going in having the worst record and has really no chance to be able to actually turn it around like they did was incredible. But hey, I don't think this is gonna. But then again, I could also say the same thing about the 06 Cardinals as well. They had a really shitty year.
That's where I'm getting at. So
okay. There we go.
I'm gonna invoke something right now because the chances of this happening are so astronomically low. It's low risk, and if it happens, I'll say, F it, I'm gonna do it. I will challenge you guys. We got to get a Cardinals tattoo and a tattoo of the symbol of the podcast, just for the hell of it.
Sure, if they win the World Series or what?
Yeah, if they win it all, if they win the World Series, yeah, not just get the playoffs.
I thought you were gonna say if they make the playoffs. I'm just saying if they make the playoffs.
If they get to play, okay. If they get to playoffs, you got to get the
if
podcast.
If they make the playoffs, you get a tattoo. But each round they advance after that makes the place you have to get the tattoo worse. Where if they win the World Series, you have to get it on your forehead.
I'll get a Post Malone tattoo. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
How about this? We'll talk about that off air. I'm definitely not getting anything on my face.
Face tattoo. Oh God.
Yeah, but for example,
neck tattoo.
Oh man.
All right, I'll do neck tattoo.
Maybe see, that's what I'm saying. I would have to think about that. Maybe a sternum or a back. But rather than the shoulder, like that. That's a great idea.
Make it really ridiculous. Make it really ridiculous, and it's got to be what the fuck, a tramp stamp.
If you know what I mean.
It's gotta be a tramp stamp.
Well, I would say
something absolutely ridiculous.
If they make the playoffs, it's player's choice. It's your choice where you get it. If they make the play,
there you go.
And then we'll have to figure out the DS, CS, and World Series ones from there. Well, World Series, I think, should be next, though.
There you go.
Okay. You know what? I'll concede to that. I'll get a neck tattoo. Yeah.
I said it.
I 100%. Yep. I said it. I would do it.
I just want to keep it above the belt. That's all I ask. Keep it above the belt. I'm good.
Yeah. That's why if you heard me, I'm like, are you?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want the
Batwing because.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want the Cardinals. I don't want the Cardinals on my bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Legs are fine. Yeah. No, I'm not getting my genitalia tattooed. No,
that's
I will not do.
I'll do anything for the Cardinals, but I won't do that. I will not do anything for like Meatloaf said, I'll do anything for that, but I won't do that.
Yeah.
I'll do anything for a World Series championship, but I won't do that.
Holy shit. Oh my God. Man. And then we'll have okay, all right. So this is gonna be the task for us, right? So obviously they make the playoffs. I'll get a tattoo. But it's gonna have to be funny. It's gonna have to have the year as if they won the championship. So it just says Cardinals 23 on it or something like that. I think that'd be hilarious because people would be like, "The hell is that? Did they that was a great run or whatever? Did you think they were gonna win it all?" I'd be like, "Well,
you could."
So we're gonna select the design 100% too, or can we get a little creative with it?
Yeah, you can be creative.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, you can be creative as long as it's got something for the Cardinals.
Yeah, like the way Josh did, his blue stuff, he wanted to do a certain thing or whatever. And I was like, I want to do mine a little different or whatever,
Yeah, so Adam's got so we did pretty much the same
I got
thing
with an arch, but I have an arch and everything else, gateway arch and all this other stuff going on.
Hold on. So our basic tattoo that we have is
the Blues
note
the cup.
in inside the Stanley Cup. He's got an arch around it. I have Play Gloria in the cup. You got Play Gloria as well, but under like on the bottom of it, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't have.
I gotta look at it.
So you don't know your. Yeah,
I don't even know. I gotta look at
but anyways, so like in the cup, I have Play Gloria, and then on the very bottom, I have Relentless, and then underneath the cup, I have 2019. Because the idea was for me, like if we win it again, I'll put the next year underneath it and just keep going down my arm.
Yeah, I didn't do Gloria because I knew Gloria was a 1 year wonder, or a 1 year wonder, I should say. And I didn't want
it was so cool though, dude. Like,
well, I did, but the thing is,
will remember forever.
Well, of course, but the thing is like say, for example, if we win again in like 24, Gloria was not going to have anything to do with it. So
no, but hold on. So Adam, my plan was, so I was going to have. That's actually what it is. So like, say we win it next year, right? So then, like underneath the 2019 is going to be the motto of that playoffs, whether it's a song or like I have Relentless, and then underneath that will be the year. So that way I keep the motto.
All right. So you planned out. There you go. See.
Yeah, I
planned it out.
I forgot that part, but yeah, I did plan that out.
I didn't get as creative. I went with the arch though. Yeah. With the cup.
Oh, dude, that's what we should do. Okay, all right, guys, gentlemen. If we win the playoff, or if we win the playoffs, if we get into the playoffs, we also have to come up with a Laura Branigan-esque like song for us. It's got to be unique to the Hometown Losers podcast. You know what I mean? Jesus. We'll play it, and people else will be like, "What the hell are you playing?" And like, "Oh, that's the fight song for the Cardinals in this playoffs." And like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? We're gonna start a trend.
Sounds good to me.
All right. God, that like I'm actually excited about the prospect of getting a neck tattoo. Never thought that would happen.
Well, just remember, now you ought to be hanging on the edge of your seat for every Cardinals game from here.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God,
they basically need to win out, and then really get lucky on top of it.
What they're gonna do is they're gonna like I'm gonna tell you this is gonna happen. They're gonna win, or they're gonna rattle off like 10 games in a row, or gonna win like 12 out of 10 or 10 out of 12 games. And then I'm gonna send both of you guys. I'm gonna text you like things from Amazon for like turtlenecks and stuff like that.
But the problem is we need like all those other teams in front of us to lose like 5 games. Drop 5 games, Right now they're all like you said, 4 games above 500. So we need them all to get below 500 by at least a game, and we win out. Unless there's some tiebreakers we have over anyone, which I doubt we do. So
because I don't know, because we would have. I know the Arizona Diamondbacks were one of them. Give me 1 second.
What is it, like 4 teams that would all have to drop?
3. Cincinnati, Giants, Arizona. But beyond that, we would also still need Miami and Pittsburgh, San Diego, New York to what combine to lose, because those are teams in front of us as well. They just don't have to obviously like lose out or whatever. Technically neither would any of the teams that are holding that last wild card spot currently. But anyways, So but it's San Fran, Cincinnati, and Arizona.
So it's almost an impossibility.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So our chances of getting to the playoffs are like less than 1%.
Yeah.
From last time I remember seeing.
But you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're coming up with this stupid, crazy crap, man. I'm telling you right now, they make the damn playoffs, and I got to get a tattoo.
This is what's going to happen.
If they make the playoffs, you got to get a tattoo. That's how low of a chance it is.
Well, hold on. So you keep saying you got to get a tattoo. We have to get a tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
All going to happen.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
All right. And apparently we're making this public, so it's not like we can go back on it now. So
no. I'm in it to win it. The probabilities of this is just ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
honestly,
might as well.
Be so fucking worth it to me.
Hey, it was worth it to me to make that bet for the blows for damn sure. I mean, to get it, it's like, okay, all I have to do is get a tattoo, and I get a Stanley Cup win for the first time ever in my life. Absolutely, I'll do that in a heartbeat.
I'm probably not going to be as religious as I am, like with the magic number thing.
I don't think you would. Yeah, I don't blame you too. I usually count down the whole magic number thing as far as going to the playoffs, but
you do that
but beyond that, I don't really count down. I used to do that a lot every year, back when we were consistently going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the 16 games as far as like
did you
through the Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about what I did for the playoffs for the Blues for the magic number?
Maybe. No, I don't think so.
So we Adam and I used to sit right next to each other at our old employer. And so right when we made the playoffs, and right before, actually it was the day before the playoffs started, I wrote down a post-it note, magic number 16, and went boop, and stuck it right onto his like the little
divider shit for our desk and
stuff.
Yeah,
a little divider that separated us or whatever. Wasn't a full partition is what I mean. So I just did that just to be goofy. But every time we won, I changed it. And so, I ripped it off and then I wrote in magic number 15, put it up there, then 14, blah, blah, blah. One time we played on the weekend and we won, and I didn't come in on Saturday or Sunday to change it. So that happened on Friday. I didn't come in Saturday to change it. Sunday they played, they lost. So I'm like, oh, hell no, that's never going to happen again. So there was one time they played on Friday, they won. I drove into work. I drove 30 minutes to work.
He did, just to change the damn number.
The magic number on a Saturday.
My God.
He did.
Up, drove 30 minutes back home. I swear to you, I did that.
Spent an hour on the road to change a post-it note.
Yeah, people are like, "What the hell? Like, why are you still here?" Or like, "Why are you here?"
I came in to change a number on a post-it number. That's all I did.
Literally, I came in to change it. Was there for 30 seconds and left. And everyone's like, "What?" Literally, I got a text message from like one of my at the time, one of the guys that was like kind of like some like a shift lead essentially. He literally texted me. He goes, "Hey, are you okay? You looked kind of weird when you just came in randomly." Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, dude, don't worry about it." Devoted fan.
I'm better now. Better now that I changed the number. I was a mess. Could you imagine him? He's a mess. Whenever he's at home, like just a nervous wreck.
Yeah. Well, Adam, you saw it for Game 6. For Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final, that was before our trip to Atlanta for work. I was physically sick. I was so nervous.
He was literally upstairs.
I couldn't watch the game.
Because I was hanging out over at your place because we had to leave out early for. Yeah. But you were mentally and physically like just a mess.
Exhausted. Yeah. I was just vomiting. I don't know why, but I was so nervous for that game. And then I told you, so like I'm like, you know what? Every time I've watched, we've lose. So Game 7, I am not gonna watch. So literally, OJ, the biggest game in St. Louis Blues history for Game 7 in 2019. I didn't watch. As a guy that literally has the blue note in my.
He literally didn't watch it. I'm watching this.
I'm telling you, this is how like superstitious I am, but how committed I am to this. I didn't watch Game 7.
Didn't watch the game.
I told Adam, I go, listen, only text me to say, hey, come on up if we're up by like 3 goals, and it's got to be in the third period, or like we're up by 1 or 2 and there's like 5 minutes left. That's the only time you can text me. I'll come up there for that. And so I remember I was sitting there watching Netflix. Should have been nervous as all hell, but I was incredibly like scary to me. Calm. I was serene. I watched the movie Evolution. Fantastic movie. One of my favorites now. And I remember specifically the only updates I was getting on the game was from the NHL app, like the little push notifications. So I remember the push notification that came up, and I'm like, okay, the game, like it was too quick. So I'm like something, and so I like scroll up, and I'm like, please say STL, please say STL. Oh, Ryan O'Reilly, let's go, and then got freaked out when Petrangelo's goal happened because I definitely thought that was a tying goal, and I was like, holy shit, they might do this. And I remember. You called me, I think, actually.
I called you. I was like, get your ass down here, because it was me and Chris that we all worked together, and I was like, he was chilling in my room or whatever. We're watching it on the hotel, like freaking, like my TV, my tiny ass TV in my hotel room. We're all getting drunk, and we're like, Josh, get down here now. Get in here. And then like 30 seconds later, you're at the door.
I was 2 floors below you too, and across the entire
30 seconds.
hotel. And I was like, I grabbed my Jameson. I grabbed my shirt that I wore after every single playoff win, which was the Play Gloria shirt, and booked my ass up there.
Yep. And you watched him finally win. So at least you didn't miss the end. So thank God.
No. I even saw Sanford's goal.
Yeah, you did.
So like it was, it was just incredible. I just
that was the icing
my
on the
eyes
cake.
out, man.
Yep.
I remember being like very not nervous for any of that. Like, I don't know why. I guess I watched like every game that season, except for a few I missed when I went on a cruise. And but I even even when I was sitting in Florida waiting to go on the cruise, I was still watching the games on my phone. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just got a sense about it. They seemed like a team of destiny. Like I never stopped watching them either. As bad as they did early in the season. I mean, I've had teams that I've quit watching or quit paying attention to, but I watched every one of their games, and I don't know. I just had a feeling about it. So I don't know.
Well, I did
Kinda
tell
funny.
Josh, and he can back me up on this. I did tell Josh when I think it was back in January, or I think it was January or February when we went on that winning streak. And I said
the beginning of February.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I said, mark my words. I said, Lord Stanley will be marching down Market Street before you know it. And he's like, oh, don't say that now. I said, no, I got a feeling about it. And I did. Did I not, Josh? I did. I said, Lord Stanley will become marching down Market Street before you know it. And he's like,
yeah, you jinxed in a positive way.
I was like, you're jinxing it that way. I was like, nope, I'm feeling it. So I'm going to say I called it in February.
Yeah, like once they when they
it seemed like they had their shit together. Yeah.
Well, yeah, really even when they'd go down, I just always I'm like, they're gonna come back, like even if they lose a game, I'm like, they're gonna win the series. Like I just had absolute confidence in them for some reason. It was the way they played, man. I think it's because they're playing such a good team game, and they just dominated others.
Everything was clicking.
Yeah.
When
everything was clicking.
As a guy that has watched so much hockey, big hockey guys, everyone knows. The thing about that was that team was just freaking different. And it was weird when we got to the playoffs. And remember, up until the last game, we were the first in the Central. And it was like, you were going to go from last place in the entire NHL and actually end up winning your freaking division. That's ridiculous, first and foremost, right? But going into that playoffs, I'm like, this is setting up perfectly for us. Because we're going to face Winnipeg, and I have a feeling we're going to face the Stars. And the Stars are going to be the make or break for us. Because after that, I'm like, after that, I'm like, it's either going to be Calgary or it's going to be San Jose. And Calgary, I know because we've beaten the hell out of them this entire season, even when we were bad, because we were physical, they're fast. I'm like, we could do that. San Jose has always been our thorn in our side. It's going to give us more motivation, but we are tougher. The only thing they are is they're faster, but we are tougher. We're more structurally sound, and we have a great defense. And I knew that they were injured going into the playoffs. So I'm like, all right, cool. This is set up perfectly. We're going to get past the Jets. Dallas is going to be our true competition because I felt Dallas was built very similar to us. And that's the reason why I went, games 7 double OT.
A double overtime. Double overtime. Pat Maroon. Yep.
That
was quite a game.
And it's just like, but watching that, OJ, the exact same thing that you said, you just felt that it was different. I thought that was different. They were different too. They were not the same Blues team, right? The only time I felt, holy crap, here we go again, was the hand pass goal game. And I go, well, that just broke the Blues. That's
going to be,
because it always seems to be right around that time that something happens and it breaks them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, let's see how they respond. And they came out and destroyed them that next game. And you're like, all right, this is not the same Blues.
Yeah, that actually, it helped motivate them, it looked like.
Goal. Or no, he scored the first goal of that game. And I remember how he was very not stoic. He was on a mission. You can tell. You can see it in his eyes. He was celebrating like he had just scored Game 7 because he had been in some of those moments for us. And it's just like those heartbreaking moments or where the team just runs out of gas. And he's like, nope, not this year. This is our time. At that point, I'm like, holy crap. I literally said to myself, we're gonna win the Stanley Cup. We're gonna win it. It was just the craziest thing. But yeah, completely different team.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the most, to me, that's the most beautiful form of hockey, honestly, is that strong team play, cycling the puck.
100%.
As fun as it is to watch tic-tac-toe passes and crazy dangles and stuff, that stuff's all well and good. But the best part of hockey is when a team's clicking like that and they just take it to the other team at will, hem them into their own zone for like a minute and a half or two. That's beautiful to me.
I will tell you, then I'll give you something, OJ, as homework, and not really, be more stupid when I say that. But if you on YouTube have not watched the entire Lake Placid games for Team USA, that whole gold medal run where we shocked the world, obviously, watch it because it's just like that. That's honestly one of the reasons why that Blues team, I felt the championship DNA was already there. We just hadn't made it official yet because it reminded me so much of Team USA. They played the exact same way, sound. They made mistakes, but they didn't beat up on themselves. And so it used to be the entire, every single game they played in that Olympics was up on YouTube for free. I don't know if they still are anymore, but I'm sure the gold medal game is, but
yeah.
Well, the thing is they were they didn't let things get them rattled because they were truly in that mindset of shift by shift. That's what you work.
That's game by game, period by period, shift by shift, second by second. Yeah.
Yeah, second by second, exactly. That's literally that's how they were focusing. They were that laser focused, and it just didn't let any of those distractions bother them, which was awesome.
Exactly. That's 100% what it takes to win championships.
Yep.
It's hard. It's hard, the mental aspect.
Because your mind can really mess with you, and
mm-hmm.
And you let that kind of shit happen to you, and it doesn't take much to get rattled.
And that's why teams will pay so much for playoff experience, especially championship playoff experience. It's actually pretty funny too. I don't know this for a fact, and I could be wrong, so somebody can correct me. But I thought I read something that in the NBA specifically, that if a guy wins it like a championship, and let's just say he's like a bench player, right, or a role player, or whatever, he doesn't get paid all that much. He still has to make there's a league minimum, and then there's like a league championship minimum where he gets paid a little bit more just from the experience on that. And I think it's just like a reward for these players to be able to win. I could be wrong, but I thought I read something about that, or maybe they're trying to make that a thing. I don't know.
Well, I don't follow the NBA, but
that's what I'm saying. I'm just starting to learn more of the financial stuff for the NBA now that I'm really, really watching Steph Curry and the Warriors a lot.
I might start checking out the Clippers because they got Kobe Bryant. I'm pretty casual as far as college sports fan, but Kobe Bryant was at Mizzou for 4 years. And
electric too.
Yeah. So I mean, he's one of those like Mr. Mizzou kind of guys that you kind of just if you root for Mizzou at all, you're just gonna root for him wherever he goes, basically. So pretty cool that he got drafted in the first round too.
Well, maybe that's what we'll do some day when the Clippers play the Warriors. Maybe we'll get together just so we can watch it and discuss it or whatever. It'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay, so my agenda kind of got tossed out the window here.
What agenda?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, dude.
We have an agenda.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It always feels like that, doesn't it? Or maybe it doesn't. Anyway, so let's actually transition. We were talking.
Oh wait, we're still live on a podcast. My bad, folks.
Right.
Oops.
Let's come back to the Cardinals for a second, but I do want to, because I want to get this out of the way. We were talking about watching the these beautiful teams in the way that they play as a team, right? Obviously, I brought up Team USA. OG, you led us into that with the Blues. Let's talk about a team that's doing that in STL, and we're talking about STL City. Now, the last 3 games that we played since the last session, we went 1-1-1. Not the most favorable results, especially against Sporting KC, which, we lost, obviously, kind of some questionable stuff towards the end, but whatever. But then we tied LA Galaxy. But
also, due to some questionable shit, basically further out the
100%.
Yeah, we got red carded that too. Yeah.
Dude, that one was the Galaxy match, dude. I mean, look, I never had a chance to watch it yet because I was busy that day. I'm pissed I missed it. But the point is, from what I've heard people saying about it, it sounds pretty inexcusable. And I mean, like people on the radio and other podcasts and shit like that.
It was
people that generally tried to be pretty unbiased, So
yeah. No, it definitely was it's hard because it does go both ways. I feel like at the beginning of the season, City got a few good calls and stuff like that happened. So it's like I always try to look everything analytically and as face value. So I know it happens from both sides. But the Galaxy game, it was atrocious. And I was sitting there, could not believe that kind of like that type of call would be able to be made. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I felt that the game against Sporting was I mean, I felt like at the beginning of the game, we kind of got away with some stuff there too, though. So, like, again, I always try to look at it in both ways when it comes to officiating and stuff.
I do too, but
yeah.
the handball thing's kind of pissing me off because I'm sure it's not a conspiracy. It's probably just luck. No. But I mean, this entire season, it seems like anytime there could be a handball that would help us, it's not a handball. No one even looks at it.
Yeah, but if it's anything else, then it's against us.
Yeah, anytime it hits our dude's hand when it's tucked into his fucking chest, it's a handball.
Yeah. He's falling or whatever. It hits his hand. It's like, call it. It's like,
and then they throw a yellow on top of it.
Yeah.
For no fucking reason. And then when they have to give a yellow later, now it's a red card. It's like,
yeah. Well, the first one that goes against him was the whenever the shot basically went against, hit him whenever it hit him in the arm, I think. And the second one was obviously just that, like that sloppy tackle. But anyway.
Which deserved a yellow, but since he already had one, now it's a red card.
Which was really shitty considering that, it freaking hit him in the arm,
Considering he didn't deserve the first yellow he got. Exactly. You already gave him a penalty kick. Why are you giving a yellow on top of it? Yeah. It's not like he made an effort to stop it or anything. It's not like a flagrant thing.
It freaking hit him in the arm. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, it was like crazy. I think it was the Austin game where one of our defenders is trying to make a move, ends up kind of slipping, and he's falling to the ground. He's literally, and so he puts his arm down to brace, and there's a kick that happens at the same time all this happens, and it hits off of his arm. They called it a handball. I'm like, the guy's got to be able to defend himself. He's falling to the ground. Like, this is such a bang play. If you want to give them a corner, okay, I'm okay with that. That's a perfect compromise. You still give the offense an attacking percentage, but you're not letting them shoot point fucking blank at the net.
Let's be honest,
though. I was so frustrated with that. Because, one second, man, I'm sorry.
There is a clause.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was just so frustrated with it. The game was already in hand, but to make that play, because if I'm a defender, what do you want me to do in that situation? Do you want me to literally just still tuck my arms in and maybe dislocate my my collarbone or yeah, exactly. You want me to just fall on my fucking face? What do you want me to do in that situation? And I would love to have that in the rules. There's got to be, they got to give the refs some ability, because this is with this VAR.
That's what it is. That is what they have. That's what I was about to say. There is a stipulation for that in the MLS version of that rule, which is something if it's a natural athletic motion or something like that. I don't know the exact phrase, but it's like that. It gives
there's a lot of gray area though. That's the problem. It's inconsistent.
Exactly. Which is why probably is what accounts for all the crazy results we've seen from St. Louis's perspective on handballs.
Exactly.
And it's all subjective and everyone's calling it different. And I also seem to notice that, maybe I'm being crazy here. It seems to go in the favor of the home team a lot. An inordinate amount of time. You can't,
because the refs want to be able to survive the parking lot.
You cannot
come down. This isn't the La Liga.
If you're a professional referee, you can't be letting the home crowd influence you like that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
it really does. If you look at just our last 30, so LA Galaxy, we got absolutely jobbed. That should be 3 points. Sporting Kansas City, there's a probable handball. I think it was a handball that didn't even get looked at by VAR, evidently.
Correct.
Because they didn't call it. And then if you go the game before that, when St. Louis is at home against Dallas got that red card. Remember?
Yep. And they ended up winning.
These fucking swings of momentum seem to always go for the home team. It's kind of weird.
Not lying.
I almost wonder if that isn't a conspiracy, since MLS is a single entity, and I'm sure they want their teams to draw, so they want them to play well at home. So they might be instructing the refs to go a little easier on the hometown side.
Yeah,
well, I guess we're going to find out, because we'll find out on Saturday, because we're hosting Houston, I think, or maybe, or are we in Houston? I can't remember.
Let me see. We are in Houston. In Houston. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right. LAFC next Wednesday. That's right. That's going to be in St. Louis. Yeah.
That'll be.
I forgot. MLS does it differently than baseball, where I'm used to the top team being the visiting team.
Yeah,
and
the top.
Do it
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not just baseball. That's like everything else. You know what I mean? It's just weird how they do it. But
yeah, they do the reverse.
They should do
I
it
did
the
want to give an
American way since
update.
they're in America.
Well, that's the thing. America does it one way, and then the rest of the world has to do it another way.
Evidently.
Accept the imperial system, damn it. Anyway, moving on.
I did want to give everybody a quick update here on the table right now. So the standings essentially, and also the playoff picture because I have some numbers for us.
Yeah, we got 6 games left.
Yep. So obviously we're still first in the West. We are 15 points ahead over number 10, which would be the last playoff spot, or at least the team that is trying to fight into the last playoff spot. That's 15 points. So that's 5 total games with 6 games remaining. We are 11 points over the last non-play-in spot because remember 9th and 8th will play each other before the playoffs officially start or whatever, or the bracket officially starts, whatever. So 11 points in that 6 games remaining. We are that's 4 games essentially because that'd be 12 points. We are 9 points over the team to get us at least into 4th, which would be a home playoff game. This one is that's 3 games in 7 games remaining. The reason why it's 7 games remaining is because 2 of those teams have a game in hand on us currently, as everything stands.
So
we are 7 points over the second place team in the West for winning the West. That is 2.5 games. 2.5 games out of the 6 games remaining. We are 9 points away from Cincinnati with this from the Supporter Shield with. That's total of 3 games with 6 games remaining. But Cincinnati also has a game on hand. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get that one. But here's some good news. The playoff picture. These are based off of mathematical probabilities by the can't remember exactly what this. It's like it's not a normal website I would go to for like I guess playoff probabilities. It's not like ESPN and stuff like that. But they took in a lot of mathematics, and that's kind of what I was looking for here. So these are the playoff probabilities based on, the fixtures, so that the actual matches, how the health of players, statistics, and all that stuff when it goes into offensive and defensive rankings. So that being said, we have a greater than 99% chance to make the playoffs. We are actually 99.32680. For to be the exact number there. That's how they get a little specific. We are 99% to make a non-play-in spot. So we are at 99% chance to make at least 7th place. We are 95% for getting at least a home play-on game. So at least finishing in 4th. We are 65% right now to win the West, which is amazing with 6 games remaining, and some of these teams have 7 or 8. So I feel that's awesome. We also have a 35% chance to win the West in the playoffs and get to the finals representing the West.
That would be pretty incredible.
And right now I'm seeing that we have, according to this table, all in all, they're taking all teams into consideration. They're saying an 8% chance to win the Cup.
Yeah, that's
pretty nice.
So 8% chance.
They have a 20% chance to actually make it to the Cup.
Yeah.
Or something like that to actually get to the final. Yep.
Oh yeah, because
Cincinnati has the upper hand on that one, of course, but as we expected.
Yeah. But because I think they
incredible.
have is it 5 or 7 points they have over the second place teams?
7.
I was going to say
over Seattle, something like that. So Seattle needs to make up 7 points on us in the next 6 games, basically, in order to catch us for the lead.
So. Right, and so that's it breaks down to 2.5 games. So that's 6. That's 2 wins and 1 tie would get you 7 points, right?
And looking at who we're facing, which is Houston, on Saturday, and we've already faced Houston before. In fact, went to one of their games earlier this year in person, my one and only game I got to go to, and St. Louis beat them. So
hopefully they do it again.
Hopefully they do it again. And then they face LAFC, which that'll be a tougher game for sure for us, no doubt.
If we get a draw out of that, I think that's a favorable result. I mean, obviously, I know we can still win the game and make a statement, but I feel if we get a draw, like a 1-1 or a 2-2 or even 0-0, I think that is something that you walk away from and say, okay, you know what? That's a tough team over there. We just couldn't break through this time. We'll get them next time.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. what I realized too is that we play Seattle as the last game of the season.
We do.
So they could easily make up points on us right there. So
That's a very interesting point. Yeah.
Be nice to win some in between there, because
for sure.
If we win the West,
see KC again. Hopefully, we can get a redemption there.
Yeah, I mean they need to smoke.
Come on, we should be able to.
They need
we
to
should
just score another 5-0 on them after that travesty of a match.
Yeah.
So I got to point some out.
Garbage city, Kansas City.
I do like their football though.
Yeah, I do like their football. Kansas City's not that bad.
Kansas City's a nice place. I'm literally as you're trashing Kansas City. As you're literally trashing Kansas City, I'm not even joking. I'm playing with my Stanley Cup replica ring that I got from this last Super Bowl, and I'm like, yeah, trash city, all right.
Mm-hmm. Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Cup.
What did I say?
You said Stanley Cup.
Oh, did I say Stanley Cup? I meant to say Super Bowl ring. Oh my God!
Yeah, you're
Lombardi.
Because you did say Stanley Cup, and then you said Super Bowl. I was just laughing.
I mean, we know you get confused sometimes. You said Kansas City's not a trash city, so
there you go.
Oh, Jesus. Anyways, I got to point this out.
You know a trash city, and that's Chicago. All right, we can all agree on that.
I agree.
All right, there we go. We'll settle it. Yeah, what's worse than Kansas City? Chicago. There you go.
Chicago. God.
Chicago.
Anyways,
I want to point out that in session, I'm trying to actually figure it out.
God, you're going to make me.
Here it is. No, session 30. We're in session 35. In session 30, I actually said that Seattle versus St. Louis might decide the West. I remember saying that way back in the day. Because the more I'm looking at that, the more, exactly, it might. Like, it could potentially stack to that. I wonder what Seattle's schedule looks like.
Let's find out. Seattle.
Yeah. You got it, because
I do. They're playing Dallas Saturday. In Dallas,
Colorado,
they're going to be Colorado, Nashville, and then Galaxy, Vancouver.
Okay. Yeah. Nashville's good.
Nashville's good.
So that's what I'm saying. Nashville,
Nashville's at home too, so they're at Nashville.
Yeah, I like that.
That's gonna be tough.
Yep, and then
they don't have
Galaxy, Vancouver.
I mean, Dallas is pretty good.
That's going to be a problem. Dallas and Vancouver.
Or the game.
LA is at Seattle.
LA is in Seattle, and then Vancouver's in Seattle. Yeah.
So they have to go to Nashville, Colorado, and Dallas.
Yeah.
And then
those will be tough games.
LA and Vancouver, and then they play us.
Okay.
Those will be tough.
So they got probably like the same. They got like pretty much the same difficulty left as we do.
But we have a lot left. But they have room to make. They have.
They have like an auto win against Colorado.
For sure. Yeah.
Colorado.
So even if we play out that scenario and we both like evenly win and lose, well, it doesn't matter. I mean.
Well,
there you go.
Well, they could win 2 games. They could win 2 games more than what we do.
Yeah.
That would put us 1 point ahead of them. So who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So let's just go out there, win out the rest of the season. We won't have to worry about it at all then. Problem solved.
Right.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
All we do is win.
I do want to bring up something real quick that has been irking me, Adam. I know it's been irking you as well.
We know whatever grinds his gears. What really grinds your gears, Josh?
The MLS power rankings. What?
I sent that to you the other day, bro.
I know.
Bullshit.
So I'm
Garbage.
sick and tired of seeing
Garbage.
Miami all the way up here, man. I'm getting
number
tired
3.
of it. Listen, I understand.
They're
garbage.
I understand. What's up?
Well, they didn't. Well, I think they're a pretty good team now, though.
Number 2.
I don't know. Exactly. Yeah, like literally MLS.com has Cincinnati number 1, Miami number 2, Philly number 3, and then us leading the West at number 4. Now, ironically, ESPN this is their power ranking.
I'm not mad about that.
Oh, this is garbage. You have 14th place Miami in number 2, but we have the first place St. Louis as number 4. Okay.
I think Miami's a pretty fucking dangerous team now, though, because I didn't realize it last time we talked about it. They didn't just get Messi; they got a couple other guys apparently.
Yeah, but guess who's going to be out on Saturday against Atlanta? Messi. There you go.
Yeah, he was out last
so they
game
won
too, and they won 3-1.
Yes, he was. Well, they won 3-2. You mean
3-2? I thought it was 3-1.
to KC?
To Kansas City, yeah.
Yeah, 3-2.
3-2. Either way, I'm just saying it's not like they can't win without him now either. So I don't know.
Yeah, but
we'll
let's
see.
be honest,
I'm curious.
that was against KC. I get that we just lost against KC, so it's really like a.
But that should be an easy win. Yeah. That's a shit team.
Right, that should be if for a team like it. Okay, I'm telling you right now, if they had Messi, they would have won that game 5-1. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
yeah,
the difference
absolutely.
that Messi does bring to it. 100%, I agree with
know.
that. The reason why I have strife here and I am not happy with these power rankings is the fact that you have a team that's 14th in the East right now, above the number one team in the West. That to me is what irks me about it. You know what I mean? To me, that's kind of
power
that's
rankings aren't just the standings, though. That's the problem. You know, it's about how you are now at the moment. And basically, if you put Lionel Messi on your team and then you get some other reinforcements and all of a sudden you look really dangerous, it's like, yeah, they're really good. And you know what? They're not the same team as they were at the beginning of the season. Like, they're clearly a much better team than they were now. They probably do deserve to be pretty high in the power rankings.
And listen, you're 100% right, but that's why I like ESPN's rankings. ESPN has Columbus number 1, Cincinnati number 2, Philly number 3, Nashville number 4, STL number 5. Then they have Miami number 8. To me, that is more where you can get them right now. Now, if they continue to win, if they get 4 wins in a row, now, okay, they're a real hot team, and now you can start seeing the power rankings getting pushed. The problem with it, OJ, is that literally like their first 2 games back in MLS, they went from like dead last all the way up to like, number 8 right away. And I'm like, Messi has played one of those games. Like, why do I get they're a good team. They got Messi, they got a bunch of other players now, and next year, I'm telling you, they're gonna go to the playoffs, and they're gonna be a real threat. If they make the playoffs this time, then I see them potentially being a threat. The problem with it is they have 2 games in hand on pretty much everybody else in the East since they've been playing so much for like the playoff competitions and stuff like that for the the MX Cup.
Well, did you already see? Of course, he's been nominated. Messi's already been, of course, nominated for best FIFA player as well. They just announced that. So
yeah,
there you go. Didn't take long.
But you know that they're going to be in that CONCACAF league too. So I don't Messi's going to be smoking CONCACAF.
Yep.
But the fact is, they're still 6 points behind Chicago right now. That's 2 games. And again, I get it that they have a lot of games in hand, but really they only have 1 game in hand on Chicago. Chicago is actually a team that's on the rise. DC United has been playing pretty well too, and DC United's 9th. Montreal has been up and down, but they've been up to 3rd. They've dropped all the way down to 9th this season, but they're in 8th right now. And Charlotte also pushing too. They're pushing Chicago pretty hard, and they've won 2 of their last 3 games as well, and 4 they got a draw on the other one. So they've been getting points. So the thing about that's to me is like you're just like disrespecting on everybody else because of 1 player, or to your point, the acquisitions that you just made. I get that, but power rankings also have to attain like the entire season. It's just like what I have issues with like MVP votes and stuff like that too.
They don't
where
have
it's got to be.
You can do whatever you want. Power rankings.
That is true.
This is kind of funny though. I'm literally looking at one of these articles. CBS just published this 5 hours ago. Lionel Messi's Inter Miami on a historic pace in pursuit of an MLS Cup playoff berth ahead of Atlanta United match. Yeah. And I'm like, they have 28 points.
Yeah. Now I will say,
them actually getting there.
I mean, they're off like this historic playoff berth, this historic pace that they're going. I'm like, I don't know. I think the media is kind of blowing it up and hyping it up a little bit too much.
How many games do they have left to play? How many games do they have left?
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They have 8 games.
8
games. 8 games left.
Yeah. 8 games left. So I mean, that's potentially 24 more points. That gets you up to 52 from where they're at, right?
If you have to win out.
Material. Yeah, you'd have to win out. But I mean, that's like enough points for the playoffs, from what I understand. So I thought it was like somewhere in the 40s.
Sure.
Is when
that's good enough that's good enough for second place, right? But to put that in perspective, Colorado Rapids, right? The Colorado Rapids, they're in the exact same boat.
Rapids.
They have 26 games.
Yeah.
Rapids, yeah. But okay, the Rapids, whatever. I mean, so they have 24 points. If you stack that on top of where it would be currently, that's good for what, 44 points? That's by the way, now they're in second place in the Western Conference. So
now, but of course,
look, I'm just saying, dude, like the Colorado Rapids didn't just add Lionel Messi and a bunch of other people.
I know,
but the fact he's not even playing these games too,
Yeah, that's fair.
Some of it,
that's what'll get him if he can't play them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
so
I guess that's fair. That's really.
I mean, I'm not
honestly,
trying to hate on Messi or anything, but it's just kind of like
if he was going to play. If we had knowledge that he was going to play every single game the rest of the season, I think there would be a legitimate chance that they could win every game the rest of the way, because they're hot right now. I mean, they got a lot of momentum, and then you also got the best player in the world, or I don't know, maybe he's getting kind of old now, but
I mean, I would still say I wouldn't say he's the best player in the world. To me, right now, that's Kylian Mbappe, like hands down. Now, a lot of people say Haaland and stuff like that. I mean, both are phenomenal, and it's like a 1 and a number 2. But to me, it's Kylian Mbappe.
Well, yeah, but you're comparing Mbappe, who's obviously in his 22? Prime, compared to 24,
35.
So
he's
compared
24,
to 36, 24 compared to a 36-year-old Messi. Yeah,
Messi.
Yeah, and it's not like Messi can't play anymore either. He's not like decrepit. He's still close to his prime. Like,
but that's the reason why, obviously, it makes sense for him to come here because it's
and he's so important. He can just refuse to play on turf. It just doesn't have to do it.
Apparently, yeah. Like, okay, dude. I guess he's just not going to play. All right.
And some of my
everybody just puts in turf.
Some of the reason why I could be very irritated about it as well is I do believe with Messi now being a part of the team, and again, I have nothing against Messi, especially because I'm not a Cristiano Ronaldo fan anymore. I used to be, so I used to not like Messi because of that. But anyways, it's nothing against Messi, but the media has blown up Miami so much now. What I do think is it takes a lot of attention away from how historic the entire season has been for City.
Yeah, that's kind of I agree with you there. It's kind of shitty.
So you go to MLS.com,
and it's like,
and I get it. It's a huge deal for MLS and stuff. But
the biggest story will be if we win the cup.
But it'll probably be,
win.
Well, we have to win first, yeah.
That would probably overshadow Messi, I would assume.
They're going to have that under a Messi story about Messi buying another house or something, probably. Well, that'll be like the top story, and then below it'll be St. Louis wins the MLS Cup.
And the problem is because Messi has like a literal cult following, like of just
and that's what belongs to
Messi
it.
just bought a rocket ship, and he's going to put a mansion on the moon or something.
Messi's in MLS. Let me buy MLS season pass. Like that's literally what they're doing.
Unbelievable.
So OJ, I just went to Legoland with my niece and my nephew for their birthday, right? Had a fantastic time. For anybody that's not been to Legoland in Orlando, please go. It's amazing. But anyway, so it's in Winter Haven, right outside Orlando. You would think that if you're going to see soccer jerseys, you're going to see Orlando City because literally it's right next to the park, essentially where they play. And I can tell you right now that 1 in every 10 people had a Messi jersey on. And it's just like,
Jesus.
I get it because he's selling so much, you know what I mean? And it's a big deal. And that's the thing about it, right? I can be upset about it, but I can also understand it. You know what I mean? I understand why the media is pushing with Messi so much because it makes him so much more revenue. But I still want to not be the back burner in this historic season. I mean, if we win the West this season and our inaugural season, I feel that it has to be a bigger story than Messi coming over. You know what I mean? Especially
because that's something that they actually accomplished, not just through money.
Exactly.
I mean,
if they're actually in the sport, that's what I'm saying.
I can throw money all the time, but actually accomplishing something is something completely different.
Yeah, like my girlfriend just happened to be watching Field of Dreams today when I got home, and it kind of made me think about like, of anew, I suppose, how like everything's become sort of like monetized and it's all corporate and shit now. these sports and stuff. It's like people have kind of lost track of why we play them in the first place. You know,
very true.
I mean, even people that are fans of sports, like it seems like a lot of the younger generation cares more about like narratives and stuff like that rather than the actual sport itself, which is, I don't know. That's why I watch sports, is because, I mean, I started playing baseball when I was a kid. My dad got me into it. Like, I like playing sports. Like, if I'm going to watch sports, I'm focusing on what they're doing, like the outcomes and how they do stuff and like that kind of thing. That's what makes it interesting for me.
Yeah. That's how it was. Yeah, I mean, and obviously for me, I grew up with the Cardinals, and whether win or lose, and they're obviously going through the '90s and stuff, there were some losing, definitely a lot of losing seasons there, but still, it was just a lot of fun, and growing up with that stuff, and
it's actually funny. It's actually funny that you bring that up, Adam, because I was talking to my stepsister who, she lived most of her life in Florida, in Jacksonville. Excuse me, but she, came up here. She's a big Cardinals fan. And she remembers that the Cardinals, like in the 90s, she's like, you forget that the Cardinals were so bad in the 90s because of Mark McGwire. That what Mark McGwire was able to do, it overshadowed everything.
That did a lot.
The mediocrity for years.
Does she remember anything from the 90s? I thought she was pretty young.
No.
You're talking about your sister said that?
My stepsister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I was saying.
No,
sorry.
You're good.
Never
You're
mind.
good, OJ. You got to remember, dude. So this is going to be crazy. I have 5 sisters now, man. 5 sisters and 1 brother.
Jesus.
Crazy. I know, right? Crazy.
Jesus Christ.
No, that was. That's my sister.
Yeah. No. Okay. So sorry for interrupting you.
But yeah, the 90s were definitely a different time for sure. But, the point is that, we still, I'll still watch a lot of it, and just, still were, watching the sport just because for me, for a lot of us, that's just, we enjoyed it for the sport of it all, period. It was frustrating, but we still, we were still fans, and it wasn't necessarily, that was the other thing too, is I didn't necessarily feel like the Cardinals were like a sellout type team where, no offense, but like the other teams such as, the Mets and the Dodgers lately, and obviously the Yankees at one point in time, were just throwing ridiculous amounts of money. And we were more of a, farm system type of team, and we weren't making
like
big
blue
moves.
Collar team.
Yeah, we were very much a blue collar team,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of postseasons that
wasn't flashy. Yeah.
Yep, and a lot of postseasons where it wasn't necessarily, our the superstars that were making the moves. It was always, like the guys that, weren't usually the headlines that were actually the ones, kind of leading the way. So
yeah. Well, and take a look at one of the most beloved Cardinal icons from that era too. Ozzie Smith. Smith wasn't that flashy of an offensive player, but he was known for obviously
phenomenal
ridiculous plays,
amazing shortstop.
Defensive plays.
Yeah.
And so, but that was kind of like, it's kind of that style of baseball, and the Cardinals have been known for that. That's why when we, like a few years ago, if you remember, the only time we were ever winning games is when we were hitting home runs. I felt like we were losing ourselves.
Yeah. And that's the way that if we can get back to that, where they actually play small ball in that sense of like running the bases, stealing bases, that,
it makes
like
sense
that, Yeah, and actually playing baseball the way it really originally was intended to be played, where it wasn't just smashing home runs. We get it. They like that now about having home runs because it's exciting. But the whole art of baseball, and the true art of baseball, is more than just home runs. There's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more finesse for it.
Being able to okay, cool. Now I get to have a pinch hitter, but that means I lose that pitcher and I lose that hitter potentially.
Yep. Those are the kind of things that I
double switch.
Miss a lot
people that don't know what they're talking about, they talk talk shit about the Cardinal way and shit, but they don't know because they think it's like some stupid philosophical crap. It's like a manual of how the Cardinals organization plays baseball, the techniques and strategies they use, the stuff that matters the most, the intricacies of the game. That's what it's about. Like, hitting the cutoff man, that kind of shit. Like the little things. It's how they teach that and how they want to go about it as an organization. That's what it literally was from George Kissel.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and that's it's just like what you guys are saying. They respected the game, and they recognize that even in this day and age, there's times where the old tenets still matter, like they still hold true, right? So like you said, sometimes you do need to play small ball. Sometimes you just need a run, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes if you get a lead and you just keep tacking on at least a run an inning, like the other team's not going to catch up to you. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
we kind of embrace that tradition,
you know,
and I think that, helped us in that sense is the fact that, it was more than just Moneyball, for us.
Well, yeah. And I kind of feel like they're starting to get back to that a little bit now. I mean, you could tell they're having fun playing again. If you watch them here recently, like they're all having a blast, dude. Like it looks like they're really gelling. So I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually want to bring it to that to talk about the players here and some of the newer players and how they're doing stuff like that. But before that, I actually want to bring up something real quick. So as Adam knows, because I'm going to get one tomorrow because we're going to the game tomorrow, I keep score at every single game. So I always get a scorecard, and if I forget, I get a pencil or whatever, and I always keep a scorecard. But the Cardinals actually keep a different way to keep score. It's called the Cardinal Way. It was developed in 1942, and they've been using it for a long time. Now, if you look at it, it's very interesting the way they do it. So, like, if you get a single, let's say you get a single to right field, you make like a mark. It's in the top left corner, so that would represent from home or from home to first base, or how you got there. It's like it's just a straightforward line. An angle to the right shows you went to right field. They actually use this in the 40s before we have all these sabermetrics that can show us like heat maps of where they hit balls and stuff like that. They can read tendencies from the other players and be able to put it into like their own like data sheet essentially of like, okay, so this person coming up, I'm just going to use a name, Ken Griffey Jr. is coming up. Oh, he has a tendency to hit in right field, like I'm just using he was a lefty, it doesn't matter. But you see my point. They were even using stuff like that back in the 40s and 50s because of like how much they respected the game and the analytics that went around into that stuff. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Oh no, it's absolutely interesting. Like, love that stuff. But that's what's cool about baseball. That's why I hate the Stiefel patch too. But we're talking about players.
Yeah.
We're talking about players. So
Yeah. So exactly. Let's get to that here. So I want to talk about it real quick here. I'll just go talk about I'll get the player statistic and let's just talk about generally how you feel that they're doing. First one I have here is Mason Wynn, right? So Mason Wynn is kind of struggling at the plate. He's doing okay defensively. In 22 games this season, 76 at bats, 12 hits, 6 runs, 2 doubles, 1 home run. He finally got that just recently. But only 4 RBIs, 2 walks, 15 strikeouts, and only 2 stolen bases for a guy that's supposed to be pretty darn fast. He's also got caught 1 time. So that average, so the actual slashing numbers here are 158 on his average, 179 for his OBB, so on base percentage, and then his slugging is 224. So OJ, I'll start with you. I mean, how do you feel about Mason Wynn? Do you feel that again, this is some of the rookie, like just the the learning curve, and hopefully when he comes next year, if he is going to be coming next year, he's going to be better?
I do feel pretty strongly that that's the case. He also struggled quite a bit initially when he started in AAA this year. It took him like a couple months to really find his footing. So he hasn't even had a month's worth of games yet in the major leagues. So I do think it's a learning curve for him, and he's struggling. What I do like is that his strikeout rate is still like similar to what he's been posting in the minors. So he's still only striking out 18% of the time. So that tells me that he's not getting just overmatched or something, He's still able to put the ball in play. And he's definitely had a couple hard hits that were right at people, where at some point those will start dropping. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to get himself up to being at least a capable hitter, to where he can at least be make himself playable with his defense. His defense, I've liked it so far. He hasn't done anything crazy flashy, but some of it's because so athletic. He's so rangy. Like, just nothing looks like it's hard for him to get to. But he hasn't really flashed the arm as much as he could have. But there's been some times where I've definitely seen he's needed to put some extra oomph on stuff, some close double plays where it's all he seems like he put a little extra on it, but didn't try to kill the pitcher that was covering first. You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah.
So I mean, to me, I think he looks good. I think he'll at least be a valuable defensive shortstop, even if he never becomes a hitter. So I like him.
It's a good point. Since we were just talking about Ozzie Smith, right?
Yeah,
so that's a good point.
I mean, obviously
different. The strikeout rate.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, can't fill those kind of shoes, but still,
No, yeah.
Well, and I will say, like, I do expect him. I don't think he can't be a decent hitter either. I really do just think he's struggling out because, I mean, he was killing the ball in AAA.
Yeah, he was.
So, like, he has the capability to hit. He's got some pop. So, I mean, I do think he could be, like, at least a league average hitter. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities for him at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
But this is a good opportunity, though, considering that, we have, like we've said before, that we don't really have much else to lose right now, so to speak. So let's just see, kind of get those jitters, and whatnot out of the system. And that way, he can, get acclimated a little bit more to the majors. And, hopefully by, the end of the year, he's starting to, hit a little bit better for sure. Feel a little bit better, more comfortable, and he can make the roster next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Great, because I think he's definitely has a lot of potential, like you were saying. So.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think they're planning on starting him at short next year already. Like, I don't think they're going to go back out and get DeYoung. They've got Tommy Edman as a break glass in case of emergency, even though I think they might be kind of looking to put him in center field potentially.
But still, as an emergency, you can go back to, what you're doing this year, you know what I mean? Have, like, Donovan or something like that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, his offense game obviously is still, a little work in progress, but I think that, I agree, he'll probably be better defensively for us than anything, so, which is fine. So even if he's an average hitter, I'll take that, because we already have we already have our heavy bats that we don't necessarily have to worry about that as much. Obviously, being shortstop, we definitely need somebody that's much more defensive there for sure. So we've never really had to rely on heavily offensive shortstops, in the past.
Right.
Let's take a look at the second guy I have on the list here, Richie Palacios.
Palacios, who won that game for us. Let's go, Palacios.
Yes. Yeah. So much better numbers than Mason Wynn when you look at it. 17 games he's played in, 45 at bats, 14 hits, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 4 home runs, 9 ribbies, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 stolen base. That's slashing number 311 on his average, 340 on his on base, and 622 for his slugging. Adam, as you just brought it up, won us the game. He has been on fire. And just
awesome to watch.
He's just seen the ball really well, and I'm really liking
2 home runs.
Game.
It was Baltimore.
He's already been awesome. He's already got 0.3 WAR for us this year.
Unreal, right?
I know.
That's crazy.
It's 17 games. 17 games.
An OPS of 962
per game.
Yeah.
Jesus.
A 962 OPS. Let's go. He's got 14 hits, 4 home runs. Yeah.
I have to say, I love Richie Palacios.
Yeah, Palacios is the shit, man.
He had piqued my interest earlier. I think I'll
be seeing Palacios jerseys
podcast.
You're gonna be seeing Palacios jerseys all over that stadium.
I might get it. He's my kind of player. He's
Dude,
got
he
the
is.
sports
He's awesome.
goggles on, and then when he just does nothing but rob home runs and fucking hit home runs, like it just wins games for you, like left and right.
I love to see more of that for sure.
I mean, so if we ground ourselves in reality, we can look at his minor league stats, and like he has a nice walk rate. Like in AAA, he's had like a 15-16% walk rate. Good on base percentages. Like he kind of has had like a little bit of a Brendan Donovan looking on base percentage throughout his minor league career. So he's at least going to be able to get on base. I know that the knock on him from the scouting reports I read is that they don't like his defense as much. And now these are scouting reports, okay? So they're wrong all the time, but they don't like his defense as much, and they don't think he has enough pop to be like a bat first / only kind of guy. The knock on him defensively big time has been his arm. Like they're like, basically you might want to try and put him at second, but even at second he struggled throwing accurately apparently to first consistently. So they moved into the outfield where he's only had like a couple years to play. And also note that he missed a couple years worth of time. He had like a torn labrum or something like that. He had something in his shoulder, I think it was. And then there was the COVID year. So he missed 2 years of development time too. So, 26 in the AAA, but he did miss 2 years entirely. So.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. I definitely like his game. I like the way that he's been able, again, not only just win those games, which obviously he's doing for us.
Yeah, he won technically two. We talked about
nature.
one, but he actually won both of those games technically for us because it wasn't for Palacios on Wednesday, the 1-0 game. He won the second game too. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Well, the other thing is, I know that the scouting reports say they didn't like his defense, but I mean, he saved a run.
He did.
One of those Baltimore games, he saved a run, cutting the ball off early. It like came over his head. He cut it off like in front of him, like a Willie Mays catch type of thing. And instead of letting it hit the wall, he saved a run that way. Like he robbed a home run. Like the dude he seems to be like, kind of a good guy to have on your squad. That's all I'll say. I definitely watching him play. Like, so
no, but that's what I'm saying. And what I also love about it is, again, not just the winning the games and doing the things he's doing. It's just the competitive nature he brings to the team. I feel like we talked about that in a few sessions ago, where just like at the time it felt like the Cardinals weren't even being competitive on the field. Like it was lackadaisical, and I just felt that they just weren't as consecrated, locked in. And now that's why I was like, bring out the rookies, because they'll tell these veterans or these guys that have been up here for a while, that shit ain't gonna fly, because we're gonna be able to keep up with it. And that's what I love about Palacios' game. Yeah, that's why I said it. Tried to say it correctly the second time, but that's why I love about his game.
We're gonna go with Richie Palacios.
Palacios.
Perchangelo.
I mean, I'll tell you, the upside with him here is like if he could even be average defensively over the course of a season in an outfield spot, with his on-base skills, which tend to translate pretty strongly to the major leagues. Like he has a floor of an above average offensive player. So if he can have an average defensive spot, he could be a starter. Like he could be a starter in the outfield for you potentially.
For sure.
If he could like refine his play out there. And I do like some of what he's done out there too, because like I said, he makes small plays. Like he does a good job of getting to the ball and getting it back in quick, even if it gets down. And maybe I'm just too used to watching other outfielders out there that aren't so good.
That's but it's saying.
I do enjoy watching him play.
Yeah, and he was a cheap, cheap addition too for us. So.
Yep.
Should say cash considerations. So we had. That was it.
Yep.
Cheap.
Let's talk about.
I like those.
Let's talk about another one real quick here. Jacob Barnes. You guys watch his pitching. He's a relief pitcher. He's pitching 7 games. Has not had a decision, but he has an ERA of 9.45. That's only in 6.2 innings. He's given up 11 hits, 7 runs, 1 home run. Yeah, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts in that time. Teams are batting .367 against him, and he's got a WHIP of 1.95. Not liking what Barnes is offering to the team currently. I think that goes without being said here, especially with these numbers. But OJ, I'm going to go to you. Do you believe that you just kind of let Barnes ride out for the rest of the year? Or do you try to give somebody else a chance? Like, what's kind of your takes on this?
If I'm trying to win games, he's 33, so he's kind of
exactly.
His career is probably winding up now, and I think they're just throwing him out there to eat innings for the major league squad because they don't want to move any of their minor league guys up there for whatever reason. So, he's going to.
It's interesting. In 11 games in AAA, He posted 1.53 ERA with 16 strikeouts and 17 2/3 innings pitched. But whenever he got called up, though, he did not produce.
Goddamn, Fangraphs isn't showing me his AAA numbers for some reason. Why did they do this?
I'll tell you. Well, as we know, the show is completely different, when it comes to that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just saying though. But anyway,
AAA numbers. So I don't know what everything, but all I know is like basically the last 3 years when he's been in the majors, he has high ERA, high FIP, high XFIP. So basically, like,
and he's just been tossed from team to team to team every single year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just tossed from everywhere, from the Brewers to the Royals to the Angels to the Mets to the Jays to the Tigers to the Yankees to the Cardinals. Like, nobody wants this guy.
He played on 4 teams in 2 years, so
yeah,
he's
not good.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much sums it up right there. And the fact the dude's 33. Sure. He'll be 34 next April. So,
Yeah. That's the best I can give you. So,
let's talk about the last one I have here, Drew Rom, right? So Drew Rom has pitched 5 games. He's 1-2, 5.96 on his ERA. So not great there either, because you're almost pushing 6. In 22.2 innings, he's given up 27 hits, 17 runs, 4 home runs, 13 walks, 18 strikeouts.
He looked good in that.
Betting against him. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he was looking good though against the Orioles this week though. So
he sure did.
Yeah. So like he looked good then, but I'm just trying to speak in the overall. Hopefully, it's not going to be a situation where he continues to struggle, and hopefully that this past Orioles game is really going to kind of propel his game. But overall, everyone's batting 290 against them and a WHIP of 1.76. I wouldn't be as concerned with him if it wasn't for that WHIP, right? That 1.76, that kind of scares me a little bit. OJ, I want to go to you with this one. I mean, do you believe that Drew Rom is kind of maybe a guy that we need to take a look at next season, or do you believe this is just let him, play out the rest of the season kind of thing?
Well, yeah, they ought to leave him on the team here now because he is a guy that's basically ready to graduate. He's like around there in his career. So it's time to see what he's got, where you want to slot him for next season, because he's a guy where, his most likely outcome is bullpen somewhere. So see if that's where he needs to be, or if he has a legit spot at the starter spot next year or what. So, I mean, I think they did pitch him a little bit in AAA this season. He has a 0.82 ERA in AAA this year. For the Cardinals, I mean. So that's over 2 games or something like that. 2 games, 11 innings. But he kind of dominated that for some reason. They brought him up. He had a disastrous first game, but I think he's been okay the 2 after that. But if you notice it, he's one of those pitchers that like strikes out a lot of guys and walks a lot of guys. Because
I noticed that as well.
So I mean, his fastball isn't very good. I think it's actually like terrible, but his other pitches are okay. So he's somebody that has to just like walk the tightrope basically. So.
Well, what about you, Adam? Do you have any take on Drew Rom at this point, or is it just a guy that? Go ahead.
I was going to say I think we just need to keep, we'll see how he performs the rest of the season. But like I said, he had a great outing this week. 5 no-hit. We got 5 innings, no hits. Hopefully he can keep it up. Maybe find his groove, and I'm excited to see if he can keep it up. But if so, that's great for us because we need the pitching. That's for damn sure.
I mean, I would love it if he would just turn into like a super wily pitcher and just use all his breaking stuff in just like the most filthy ways. Like that's probably the best way for him to try and have success. But
yeah, especially if at this point and you're already pitching the majors and you just don't have a fastball, it's the way you need to survive.
He's gonna have to pitch from his breaking stuff to set up his fastball.
Yeah. Well, let's speak about Uncle Charlie real quick before we sign off here, guys. Waino, he sits at 199.
199. What a way.
Scheduled 3 games left to pitch. Right now, he's scheduled to pitch versus the Brewers on the 18th, at the Padres on the 23rd, and then at home against the Reds for his last game, the 29th. However, I wouldn't be surprised if he pitches on short rest, just to try to, for the organization, try to give him 4, especially if like he in his next 2 games out, he gets no decisions or losses. Adam, I want to start with you here. Do you think that he only pitches 3 games? Do you think they stretch it into 4? And
I think
does he get? I think 200? They will.
I think he'll get to 200. But I think that they will, considering this is the last, hoorah. There's a big push to get to 200. They're going to have, the big ceremonies and whatnot. And considering this is the last, little bit of the season coming up here for us, the next couple weeks, and a lot of that fanfare is for Waino. So I think that for the fans, they want to, they're going to try to push him to get to 200 and see if we can, if it's close, they'll try to push it for a 4th start at least to try to make it happen, I think. Because that's his big weekend coming up
as well.
Yeah.
And OJ, what about you? What's your takes on Waino here?
Well, I guess if he gets to 200 early, they probably won't throw him 4. I do think they'll go out of their way to try and get him another crack at it if he needs it at the end of the year, though. And do I think he'll get 200? Who knows? I mean, this feels like, let's say, yeah. I'm going to say, yeah. I mean, the way the Cardinals are playing right now, the team's playing with, they actually have kind of a swagger to them. As bad as their record is, they seem like they're having a blast, and they're just smoking teams that are for sure in the playoffs, first in the AL East and crap like that. So I think there's a pretty good chance Waino does get it with another 3 or 4 more chances.
And he'll be pushing hard, obviously. Oh, go ahead.
Remember what I said earlier several podcasts ago, it'll probably be the last start. It's going to be in front of a home crowd.
That'd be
That's
awesome,
probably
right?
going to be the one that'll do it. Yeah, because
that'd be awesome.
It'll be necessary. They might even pitch him, make sure to line him up to pitch the last game. Because I got an email from the Cardinals because I think I asked them about tickets or something. I don't know. I got an email from them saying that they're going to have some concert on their
after the show or after the a little concert show that's going to be after the game and whatever.
Yeah.
They're even giving away guitar, ukulele guitars or whatever. That's kind of cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if they pitch him that day too.
For sure.
That's what I said. They stretch it to 4. But how funny would it be? I would love to see it happen. How funny would it be if it was like our conversations with last year were like, oh, is Pools going to get to 700?
I was thinking the same thing.
It might be the last thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, how the hell did he get 703? Right? So it's like, that's what happens here. Is we're so pressed to get 200, ends up with 203 or 202.
I was literally the same exact thing. The fact is that there's all this pressure to do it. I think that considering that this is his, the last push, at the very end of his career, I honestly think that he will.
Yeah. And like I said, the way the rest of the team is acting right now, they're inspired, dude. I guarantee you they're going to want to win it for him too. So I think he's going to get some good efforts from the rest of the team.
I agree with you, gentlemen. Well, gents, let's go ahead and head to our sign off here. Adam, would you like to tell the good listeners and all the boys and girls what our socials are?
Our wonderful listeners can check us out if they so choose on the social media website known as facebook.com/the hometown losers. That's LOUSERS. Or if instead you are a fan of the X, formerly known as Twitter, check us out on x.com/hometown losers. We'd love to hear from you.
OJ, what do you? Oh, my bad. Sorry, Adam. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go on. What were you saying?
I just said we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not me, but
just get done.
Well, I mean, if you want to make a social media page and like us and share and talk to us, that's cool. I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
We just ranted about the evils of social media. It's like,
before
oh, by the way,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
us
we
up
literally
on
had a
Twitter.
conversation before this podcast about how much we hate social media, and here we are promoting our social media. Yeah,
Oh,
it is
man.
a little
God, I
tough.
hate it. It's the downfall of society. Join us next
Yeah.
week here on the Hometown Losers Podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were literally talking about how horrible Facebook is for society, and here it is. Like,
Yeah.
check us out on Facebook. Yeah,
We're
this
going
is
to post
great.
questions for you to answer, but the only way for you to see it is if you have a Twitter account.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, OJ, what do you have for the game of the week?
So I might give 2, but I'm going to see how the first one lands. Let's get weird with it. So the first one's going
Let's
to
get
be
weird
Saturday. If you want to watch some football, you can watch some University of Mizzou versus Kansas State. That's
in St. Louis.
Good old rivalry matchup. But I will say, I mean, most likely Mizzou going to get blown out. But I also, this is the only game Mizzou's prepared for. Like, I don't think they bothered to prepare for the last 2. I've at least heard that some schools don't do that. Or if they have real cupcakes, they just don't prepare, and they just prepare for like 3 weeks for whoever their next real opponent is. So that's really the only
we
chance.
Almost lost to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what we tell ourselves. But so let's see what happens. I mean, I do expect Mizzou to play better against Kansas State than the other 2. But at this point, I'm worried that Kansas State is just going to be so good compared to Mizzou, it won't matter. Because, I mean, you shouldn't really need to prepare for Middle Tennessee State a whole lot. But, what are you going to do? So, anyway, that would be the game at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. bright and early.
In St.
Mizzou
Louis.
versus Kansas State in St. Louis.
At the Dome. The Battle Dome.
Yep.
Battle Dome. All right, gentlemen. As always, it was great talking to you. I always have a good time talking about the St. Louis sports scene with you guys. And if you enjoyed the podcast, we appreciate it. Please check us out next week and join us, as always, here on the Hometown Losers Podcast. Have a great night, everybody.
Hey guys, this is Adam. Just want to say thanks for listening to the Hometown Losers Podcast. We'll see you next week as we continue our discussion of St. Louis sports.